Have you ever stopped to think about what it means to face death knowing your body could? You don't take even one more second of fighting? Take a deep breath. Now imagine you're standing, but every muscle in your body is screaming for you to give up. Your bones feel like glass about to shatter, and yet you choose to take one more step forward. Why? Because there's something greater than your own life waiting for you. That's exactly what Aldebaran of Taurus taught us in those final minutes against Minos of Griffon. And I need to tell you this story because it completely changed the way I see true courage. When we think about Saint Seiya, what usually comes to mind are those 5 bronze saints saving the world, right? Seiya burning his cosmos to the limit, Shiryu losing his sight, Yoga freezing everything. But there is a moment that few people analyze with the attention it deserves. And this moment is led by a guy who literally held the sky on his back. Aldebaran, the bull, the unshakable golden giant. Think about it. Throughout the entire classic saga, Aldebaran is presented as this impenetrable wall, that massive guy with absurd brute strength who respects the rules above all else. He's not charismatic like Milo, not mysterious like Shaka, doesn't have that rebel vibe like Aldebaran is. Solid, predictable, even the type of warrior you know exactly what to expect from, and maybe that's exactly why what happened in Hades' castle hurt so much. Let's go back to that scene. The gold saints resurrected by Athena are invading the realm of the dead. The plan is bold. Destroy the Wailing Wall, the last barrier before the Elysian Fields, where Hades truly is. But there's a massive problem in the way. Literally, Minos of Griffon, one of the 3 judges of hell, a specter so powerful that his cosmic energy rivals that of the gold saints. And he's not alone. Here's where you need to understand something. Aldebaran was already dead when his physical body had already passed its limit in the battle against Niobe. The golden armor was cracked, broken in several places. He was basically a ghost using willpower to keep existing. Put yourself in his place for a second. You know you're operating on borrowed time. Every movement could be the last. And then a creature appears in front of you that could easily tear you apart. What do? Aldebaran did what Abu does. He planted his feet on the ground and said, "You shall not pass the great horn," that signature attack of his. That horn of golden energy capable of pulverizing rocks was launched with everything he had. And you know what happened? Minos simply resisted. Worse than that, he counterattacked with cosmic marionation, those invisible threads that cut through the body like sharp blades. And that's when everything changed. Aldebaran's armor began to shatter. Piece by piece, that sacred gold representing 2,000 years of tradition fell to the ground. His body, already weakened by his previous death, began to tear under the pressure of Minos' threads. Blood, pain, the kind of agony that would make any normal human being pass out instantly. But Aldebaran didn't fall. You know, those 3 seconds before you realize someone you love is really leaving, that frozen moment in time where everything still seems possible, but deep down you already know the truth. That's what I felt watching that scene, because Aldebaran was no longer fighting to win. He was fighting to buy time. Every second he remained standing was one more second for his companions to advance. Every drop of blood spilled was an investment in the greater mission. And there is a line he says, "At that moment that gives me chills to this day, a knight of Athena does not retreat while there is life in his body." It might seem cliche written like that, but when you see that broken man bleeding with his armor in tatters, saying those words, man, that's not courage. It's something beyond its conviction transformed into pure action. Minos tried everything. He increased the intensity of cosmic marionation, cut deeper, caused more pain, and Aldebaran was still there, standing, holding that position like a centuries-old oak that refuses to fall even when the axe has already cut halfway through the trunk. There was a moment, and pay attention to this detail because it is crucial. There was a moment when Aldebaran could have dodged. He saw Minos' final attack coming. He had the reflexes of a gold saint. He could have jumped to the side, tried to evade, preserved what was left of his body, but if he did that, the attack would hit whoever was behind him. So he didn't dodge. He opened his arms and absorbed everything, transformed his own body into the final shield. And when that blow pierced his chest, when the last fragment of the taurus armor shattered in the air like golden dust, Aldebaran smiled, because he had succeeded. He had given the others the time they needed. He had fulfilled his role to the last atom of his being. You know what the difference is between a true hero and a generic character. A true hero understands that sometimes winning doesn't mean surviving. Sometimes winning means ensuring that those who come after you have a chance. Aldebaran didn't defeat Minos that day, but he won in a way few can comprehend. He proved that strength isn't just measured in destructive power or superhuman speed. Strength is also about how many times you can get up when your body begs you to stay down. Every time I find myself wanting to give up on something difficult, I remember that unshakable bull. I remember that he had every reason in the universe to simply leave the mission to another knight who was more whole, stronger, more prepared. But he didn't do that because it wasn't about him. It never was.